Birds. They can fly. They used to be dinosaurs. They shit at random, seemingly to aim at people who win the lottery. I'm not necessarily afraid of birds, but I do not like them. And in large numbers, I'm worried of what they could do. Swarming you for food, swarming you for shits. Really, I just don't like them because I don't want to deal with the repercussions of them being near me. Birds as pets, I'm very against because to own a bird, you have to clip its wings. You have to take the one thing that it's good at. It's like the permanent leash. If you own a dog, you can at least let it run around. If you own a cat, you could choose to be an outdoor cat owner if you're crazy. But birds, if you don't clip its wings, that bird's going hundreds of miles to who knows where. I could choose your living room, or I could choose anywhere in the world that I deem fit. Birds always flock together. A flock of birds. If you're owning a bird and there's just one of them, like you're their flock, and large birds outlive their owners. I don't know if you know this, but large birds tend to live to like 80 to 100 to 120 years old sometimes even. You're buying this, and that bird is not only going to outlive you, but burden your grandchildren and their grandchildren. That bird could span multi-generational. And you think that bird who lived with one person its entire life is going to just suddenly adapt? No, that bird's old too. That bird's old and stuck in its ways. So that bird's going to hate your kids. And those kids are going to hate that bird. And what kind of life are you living when you're living in a world of hate? Just don't get the damn bird, okay? Let the bird live its life as normal. Like, it doesn't need to live that long under captivity, okay? Can you imagine a 120-year solitary jail sentence? That's what you're putting into this bird's life, who didn't ask to be caught by, how do they even catch these big birds? What the hell is going on with these big birds? Who's catching these things, okay? Now we got flightless birds like penguins or turkeys. God's joke on the world. Chickens just taste good. They're the birds that don't fly away. And then you have predatory birds like owls and eagles that scoop up small dogs and cats and just take them off to be killed. I think size has to do a lot with their captivity, because we don't keep eagles as pets, right? Because an eagle will you up. One-on-one, an eagle can really rip your face off. Falcons, a little bit smaller. You can control. And then small birds, anything smaller than a falcon, you're not getting away. If you gotta land on the ground eventually to eat. Too stupid to avoid a trap. A little box with a worm under it and a stick, you're catching that bird. Such an effective trap for something like, say what you will about birds, but they ain't too smart. I mean, you see that, you think that's a good idea, even though it's like existed for how long? Cavemen were using like bird traps like that to catch things, and they're still falling for it. A fun fact, birds can't taste heat. If you got squirrels or raccoons eating your damn bird feed out of your bird feeder in your backyard, which is the most ethical way, I feel like, to have bird pets, give a big old barbecue in your backyard for all the birds to eat. But if raccoons are messing that party up, spray chili oil, spray hot pepper stuff on it. Everything else will be like, oh, this is poison. Birds, we'll just eat it like normal. There you go. If rodents are crashing your bird party, spice it up. Despite me not liking birds, I am fascinated by them. A lot of interesting habits. The bird call, the mating call, different behaviors. It's weird. I don't know. It's interesting. The dancing, the, peacocking. Peacocks don't just peacock. Like, a lot of birds have weird dances that they do. It's all just to get DTF with another bird. And it's funny to me. Because I don't have to do that. Our peacocking is way different and way more complicated. So who's winning really? Can I learn a TikTok dance number and find my soulmate, or deal with what humans have to deal with? I mean, it worked out for me, but I figured it out. Can you imagine that if dating was just learning a TikTok dance number and then immediately going to a monogamous relationship for the rest of your life? I don't even know if birds are monogamous. What an assumption for me to make. One interesting habit of birds is migration. When it gets too cold up here, they go down south. They chase the food. When it's less competition, they go back to where they came from. Why not just stay in one place? So you really got to eat everything in the place and go back home? But I guess if you had wings, that's your area. is like going back and forth, being a snowbird. They get to go on a nice vacation and then come back, and it sucks. Winter sucks. I can't even imagine. It makes sense now. The more I think about it, it makes sense that birds migrate. I've immediately flip flopped on this. It's cold as hell. You're gonna die. You can't just move into a bird condo or something. Then I could see not migrating. When death is on the line, it makes sense to go to warmer climates slowly over time. You're like, it's too chilly. Boom. I'm out of here. Deuces. I'll see you when the worms come out of the ground in the spring. And why is that? Why is bird seed, like seed and worms, go to town on that? Is that just because it's the easiest for them to get? Why don't animals just turn carnivorous if a food source is limited? I don't understand that. Maybe because they just don't have the capabilities to kill. Could I train a chicken to just start killing like mice and vermin? I don't know. What would the repercussions be of that? Everyone's trying to train chickens to be fat or have fuller breasts, but I want the killer chickens. Because why not? It'd be fun. It's funny to me, okay? I think with AI and virtual reality, we're going to be able to live out these sick, weird fantasies with no repercussion other than a thought experiment. I'll have my army of killer chickens take out and solve the rat problem in New York City in my virtual mind. And then if it works out, I'm going to be a millionaire, okay? If I could solve the rat crisis in Trash City, USA. And birds are kind of assholes. They push their kids out of the nest, and whatever one learns to fly and doesn't snap its neck on the way down, it lives, okay? It's kind of this coliseum of gravity that birds have to go through. They're just okay with it. It sucks my baby died. No, birds don't even have the capability to cry. I don't know this for sure, but I've never seen a bird cry. And you think a bird would feel bad when a baby dies, but I don't know. They just seem to be like, oh, I'm just going to feed the ones that lived, okay? And good for them, It sucks if you took even 1 millisecond more to learn how to fly because dead on the ground underneath a tree and some squirrel or dog is going to just eat you up. That's one thing I've never understood either. Birds got to be dying all the time. There's tons of birds and stuff. And tons of animals in general. Why isn't the landscape just littered with corpses? Why aren't we like living on a mountain of skulls? And is it just because other animals are eating them? I mean, things don't decompose that fast. Worms finish everything off, and worms are like our nature's compost, nature's garbage compactor. But it seems crazy. There's got to be a shit ton of worms. And where's the worm bones? Where's the worm bodies piled up? They just self-cannibalize? I don't even know. Yeah, I guess they got it. What happens when a worm dies? How long does a worm live? Only to be eaten by the thing it's eventually going to eat when it dies. Full circle. The snake eating its own tail. The worm eating its own bird. And that was a thing during COVID too, is birds got over reliant on humans feeding them. There was pictures of like Rome just totally empty and birds, just fat ass birds just look around for like people that would feed them. There was nobody, and I think the birds just like died because they just relied on fat tourists giving them a Snicker or whatever, tossing them some baguettes. Do birds work out? I've never seen that either. Is flying just the workout they need? Is there a strong bird? I'm basically trying to recreate cockfights. How do you train a bird to be stronger? Like doing leg exercises, jaw strength. How do you train a bird to be stronger? I guess I'm literally just trying to learn how to train a chicken to kill. Going back to my original idea of creating carnivorous chickens. But I want the chicken to be able to kill other things, not kill its own brethren. So is that better? I don't know. And who figured that out? Someone had to go through my exact thought process behind this, because someone had to be like, I can get these chickens to kill each other. Like, they just walk around, but given the right motivation, I can make these dumb, stupid things murder machines. And that's funny and interesting to me. Human thought experiments can turn into tragedies if enacted, I guess. So maybe I'll put my army of chickens on the back burner, actually, so as not to create some horrific new chicken genocide machine. And of all the things to eat, too, it's just like early man must have been so happy to find like a shit ton of chickens compared to anything else. Shooting an elk or like trying to chase down a moose to eat or trying to kill a bear. That's a lot of energy. You're probably going to die. Chickens, though, boom, bang, bonk, you're done. And dinner's on the table for this family. And there's a shit ton of them. So it's like seeing KFC for the first time, like experiencing that. You know what I mean, I don't have to like train for days and slowly hunt this thing and then wait for the perfect opportunity to attack and hope I don't miss, or it's going to be another week or two before I even see another elk. From that to chicken, where I can like keep it in a little coop, they'll reproduce, and I could just bonk it on the head and Bob's your uncle, chicken dinner. And birds can't emote with their faces. Maybe they could emote through the sound of their clucking and general behavior or whatever, but it's weird that, you know, a dog can emote, a cat can emote. Maybe that's why we adopt those animals as pets and then we kill the hell out of chickens. Just the fact that, you know, I can't tell what they're feeling. They can't even cry. A chicken can't cry. So I don't feel too bad when I eat it. But if every time you killed a chicken, it was like a Bambi, like big puffy eyes, crying. A little off topic, but yeah, kitten and dog whimpers are like the same resonant frequency as like a baby's cry or something. I don't exactly remember. I'm not a scientist. I just hear a lot of shit, but that makes sense to me. For some reason, an animal learning to like mimic baby cries is like the smartest thing I could possibly see evolutionary to, hey, don't kill me, please. I sound like your infants, man. Now if kittens sounded like we'd have kitten farms as much as we do chicken farms, I feel like. We'd be like, get those things and batter and fry them immediately, because I don't want that. Because even though those things can emote, I don't like that, and I'm annoyed by it. And I would like to eat that because I don't feel any remorse. It doesn't sound like a baby cry. There's not much you could train birds to do, I feel like. They're kind of on their own. Except for maybe like parakeets or parrots. Teach them to talk different sounds. That's kind of funny. That's the animal that learns to speak English. And there's no comprehension even. They're just repeating things they've heard because it sounds like a funny mating call. Why do birds learn to speak? Why do parakeets mimic? There's got to be some sick reasoning, because what weird evolutionary thing caused them to learn how to replicate. Yeah, maybe it's like, don't kill me because I know your secrets too. While there's no comprehension, I heard you say this a lot. Can you relate to a bird? What else could do that? Like, why don't armadillos just go like, I love you? Kangaroos going, he did it. Isn't it strange? Yeah. What is special about a bird? What happened to this bird in the past? How did it, because I feel like evolution takes what? So birds that could talk just figured something out. And can birds imitate other noises? I guess so. They can imitate like a camera click and other animals. So that had to have helped, right? It had to be really beneficial, because why else would that grow as an evolutionary trait other than, a funny thing? I feel like every trait that survived now after all these years has to have some purpose for it. And birds are like very crazy colors too. Like what benefit other than being easier to spot in the trees of green and brown? You can see each other, and I guess it's not as, you don't have to be as fearful of predators on the ground. So you want to be able to see each other, so you know where the party's at. Yeah, that'd be interesting if other things didn't have to fear as much. Would we have neon blue rats and stuff running around? It'd be like Cyberpunk 2077 up in here. All our animals would just be like bright neon colors. And beaks and bird tongues are kind of, yeah. If you look just at that, it's kind of like, yeah, of course these things are little dinosaurs. Like, what the hell? Isn't that weird that big dinosaurs turned into little birds and little rodents turned into us? And who knows? I mean, there could be another apocalyptic event here. And what would be next? Ants becoming baboon sized or something? Or what would take over next? Cockroaches? Maybe like if we nuclear bomb ourselves, things are just going to evolve from cockroaches and stuff. Just become insect planet or something. Instead of Planet of the Apes, it should have been Planet of the Cockroaches. Armor-plated. Everything's like low to the ground. Everything's like slit doors. Well, that's all I could think about for birds. If you like this, tune in next week. We're going to be talking about trash.